Welcome here to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. We call this DT on the CFP. We've been doing this for years, college football playoff on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora inside the Great Lakes Honda City Studios. I am picture in picture with someone that I have known for, at least a decade at this point, and that is Peach Bowl Inc. President and CEO Gary Stokan, overseeing the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl inside the college football playoff in this 2025-26 season. Mr. Stokan, how are we doing?
Hey, Dan, Merry Christmas to you and all your listeners. How are you?
And a Merry Christmas to you as well. I love that you say that because, it's funny. I was down in Florida and I was at like Universal Studios and Walt Disney World. If they said anything to you, they said Happy Holidays. Then if you said Merry Christmas, they could say it back and they got really excited. So I'm very grateful that you're one of those people that doesn't wait for it and you just straight up say Merry Christmas. So I always appreciate that about you, Gary. I appreciate your faith, is what I'm saying.
Thank you.
So,
appreciate yours as well.
Well, I value that very much, as you know. So we are here inside of this college football playoff, getting things started, jumping right into it. This is a tough decision for the committee to make. I know that you, as the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl, you're not making the decision. You're watching what unfolds and how it happens. It comes down to head-to-head, and there's coaches leaving, coaches staying, and whatnot. In the case of Ole Miss, they don't have Lane Kiffin. In the case of Tulane and James Madison, they have their coaches in John Summerall and Bob Chesney, respectively. Notre Dame plays Miami head-to-head. They have the same record. As a fan of college football, what was it like to watch this unveiling of this group of 12 that we have in the playoff this year?
Well, I don't know if you've done it, but I've sat in the room in Gaylord and gone through a mock selection, and it's very interesting. It's enlightening as to how much data and information they have in front of them.
Yeah.
So it's difficult to make a bad decision. I think, unfortunately, in the case of the AD at Notre Dame and Mr. Bavacqua and Mr. Phillips at the ACC, I think they got caught up in the week-to-week rankings that come out, which have nothing to do with anything until the last rankings. I did a lot of interviews. Gosh, I remember when Georgia lost to Alabama, and all the Georgia people were crying and, oh, we're not going to make it to the playoff and this and that. And here they win the SEC, and they get a number 3 bye.
Yeah.
So as I tell people, you just have to let the schedule play out. You have to let the season go on, and at the end, you get the CFP selection committee that makes decisions. Unfortunately, because the Miami Notre Dame thing, Miami was ranked, lower than Notre Dame by 5 or 6 because of their midseason slump there with SMU and Louisville, and never brought into conversation the head-to-head with Notre Dame. And as things got closer and Notre Dame got better, Miami got better as the year went on, now it became more of an issue. And at the end of the day, obviously, head-to-head should matter. That's why you play the games. And, we've always been an advocate, starting the kickoff game format, that these games do matter. And they do provide a major data point for the CFP. And that's evident this year. Miami, Notre Dame, if they don't play that game, Miami or Notre Dame might not get in, depending on who they played. But because they played the game, Miami did get in. That was a major data point. So, it's competition. It's America. It's where you win it on the field. And so, I can understand why the selection committee put Miami in.
Yeah, and there's another part to it. And you mentioned kind of like the commissioner of the ACC, the AD at Notre Dame and whatnot. When you know this and I know this, Gary, of working in business for many years, when something happens, there's emotion.
Mm-hmm.
And you have to take a step back, take a deep breath before you react. It seems like in this situation of Notre Dame not getting in, there was no breath taken. And now we're looking at could be permanent damage to the ACC, all these things being said. I feel like there's a lot going on. ESPN was running on their ticker like, hey, next year Notre Dame's going to have a good chance of getting it before they play any games. It's like, It seems like there's a lot of emotional things being made that probably could have a very bad domino effect. As a business person, how do you look at everything that's kind of unfolded this year?
Dan, that's a great point, and you're astute in making it. I have had emails, I've had letters ready to go after emotionally being involved in a decision that maybe didn't go my way or I didn't favor, and I used always used the rule of one day. So I let it sit for one day and let it percolate, and then I come back and decide whether I want to send the email or the letter, or just suck it up and throw it in the trash can, or erase it. I think unfortunately in this social media world that we live in, to some degree, you have to play to your base as well because they want an immediate reaction because everything is so immediate now with social media and the internet. And so, um, you know, I I just don't understand if we say everything's for the kids, and then not to have the kids playing a bowl game. That didn't make a whole lot of sense to me. Fully understand the perspective, the feeling. Don't quite agree with the comments made to uh, the ACC commissioner, Jim Phillips, who, for all intents and purposes, the ACC have given Notre Dame a schedule in football of
Yeah,
6 games.
yeah,
For all intents and purposes, the ACC has accepted Notre Dame in all their basketball and their Olympic sports. So, that was a tough call to make, but I can understand the emotion probably hit and probably had to say something for his base, social media wise, to know that he's standing up for the players and the coaches, etc. But just it didn't have a good feel because he is a part of the CFP, and the CFP has made these roles and put the onus on the selection committee to go through the process. So, I mean, you have to accept it, whatever they decide.
it also seemed like one of the easiest decisions a committee would ever have to make is the exact same record head to head who won. I mean, that I feel like there's a lot more things to argue about, like a Texas with three losses, yet three top 12 wins, and, knowing what they've done this year and them being left out, or a Vanderbilt. Now, you and I have talked about the world of the bowl season, Gary, before, and that the college football playoff is a path to the national title. The Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl is one of the six bowls that is a part of this path. There's many other bowls though, and there's over a month of bowl season with not just Notre Dame, but Notre Dame in a unique place, right? Because they didn't get in the playoff, and their response was, well, if you're not letting us in, then we're not doing anything. Where Kansas State and Iowa State and Baylor and all these other teams, they had no shot of getting in the playoff, but they also said, we're not going to play in a bowl game. What is your take about what that can do if schools, because you said if it's all about the kids, people forget Notre Dame, you got grad students, you got seniors that didn't know that that was going to be their last game. So, in the world of an institution saying, we're not playing in a bowl, we're going to choose what bowl we're in, we're going to deny these bowls till we get the one we want, or we're just not going to play in the bowl season unless you put us in the playoff, we're going to punish you all because we didn't get our way. Could this kill the bowl system outside of the college football playoff? What we're seeing happen right now with so many schools saying that they refuse to play in a bowl game.
Yeah, another great point, Dan. The back in the BCS when it was started, I remember in 1998, I just came on the job and I made the comment in USA Today that the BCS is going to hurt the bowl system because most of the media will flock to those four bowl games, and it'll hurt the rest of the bowls. And I was right. Roy Kramer ripped me, but I was right. And you fast forward now to a 14 playoff. The same thing happened. It hurt the bowls. And now a 12-team playoff has hurt the bowls. On one side, you've got the TV networks, mainly ESPN, who makes more money over the 2 weeks of bowl season or 3 weeks, whatever it is now, than they do at any other time during the year because a lot of people are off work. A lot of people have time to watch TV.
Yeah.
They like watching the bowl games. The viewership is better than a lot of NBA, NHL, and Major League Baseball All-Star games or even playoff games. So there's viewership there. With viewership comes the opportunity to advertisement dollars, which ESPN's in the business to make money. And so you can understand why, they want that bowl season to exist. Um, you know, we just have such a diverse amount of problems in college football right now, let alone college athletics, that we don't have the calendar right. Um, the NIL has caused problems. The transfer portal has caused problems. The early signing date for high school kids has caused problems. There are so many issues with college football. And unfortunately, the playoff has done such a good job of creating interest in viewership and attendance because there's more teams eligible to possibly fight out to get into that playoff into November and early December now.
Yeah.
So it's going to be interesting to see what the commissioners do come January 23rd when they make a decision on what the playoffs will be in 26 through 31, whether they stay at 12, whether they go to 16. The Big Ten's promoting the 20 or 24 teams. No matter what it is, you'll always have the next team or two teams after that number will, create a controversy that they deserve to be in the playoff. So you're always going to have that. What's the right number? Remains to be seen what the commissioners decide. The great thing is we at the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl just want to be a part of it, as we have been last year with the quarterfinal and this year with the CFB semifinal at the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl.
Well, and Gary, to your point of being a part of it as a quarterfinal, now a semifinal this year, you've been a semifinal in the rotation of the 4-team college football playoff in the past, but you didn't have to wait. Now you have to wait 2 rounds to figure out who it's going to be. So bring me into the prep of this because we have Oregon hosting James Madison in round 1. We have Oklahoma in a rematch with Alabama hosting Alabama. The winner of Oregon, James Madison, will go to the Orange Bowl to face off against 4-seed Texas Tech. The winner of Alabama, Oklahoma will go to the Rose Bowl to face off against Indiana. And then you see who you get from there. So you have 6 teams to essentially prepare for instead of knowing what it is. So this is the first time that the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl has ever been a semifinal in the college football playoff when you didn't know your matchup ahead of time. How has that affected planning, and what has that done to challenge you and the team?
Yeah, great credit to my staff and the CFP staff. We've had a lot of meetings over the last year and put in Zoom calls and meeting times for teams to come into Atlanta, for us to speak to the teams via Zoom, to go through the participation guide with respect to hotels, credential numbers, hospitality, room assignments, everything that you can imagine, logistic wise to put on, a semifinal game. And so, and in parallel to that, we've had numerous meetings monthly with Mercedes-Benz Stadium to deal with the same type of issues. So, a lot of pre-planning, a lot of preparation. And, once these first games on the 19th and 20th happen, then we'll narrow it down and we'll have Zoom calls with all the teams that are left. And then we'll have them into Atlanta to go through the hotels, Mercedes-Benz Stadium, and walk through our guide with us. So, yeah, a lot happening in parallel. And it is a little strange. Normally, we know our teams, as you said earlier, Last year we were at Texas Clemson, knowing the winner of that game was going to play in our quarterfinal. Um, but yeah, it's a little bit different. But to have the potential of the type of teams that we'll have playing for the opportunity, one of them to go to the national championship game, is quite exciting for us at the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl.
Yeah, we look at this season, the Aflac kickoff game had two: Virginia Tech, South Carolina, Syracuse, Tennessee. Then you had the SEC championship at Mercedes-Benz Stadium as well, and that was between Alabama and Georgia. Now you have a chance that you could potentially see Alabama again at Mercedes-Benz Stadium in Atlanta. Just what overall, kind of as a final note, that not just the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl and not just the college football playoff, but seeing so much come through Atlanta. You've been a big proponent of taking care of the community and building up the community. The SEC title game and two, not one, but two Aflac kickoff games made this year extremely exciting before we even get to the Peach Bowl.
Yeah, it was our strategy and our vision to create Atlanta as the capital of college football. So we went out strategically, recruited the College Football Hall of Fame to build it, sustain it, and organize and manage it here in Atlanta, and then to create the kickoff games, and then to jump into the CFP in 2014. So it's been a plan that's, as well as hosting the SEC in Atlanta. We originally, the Peach Bowl was a big part of bringing that to Atlanta in 1992. The SEC doesn't need as much help now because they're so successful, but we still sell some tickets to it and help in that way.
Yeah.
But to have all those events in Atlanta, and basically within one calendar year, have hosted the CFP quarterfinal, the national championship game, and now this year the semifinal, is quite a testament to our staff, our board, the fans of Atlanta, the volunteers, as well as Mercedes-Benz Stadium.
That coming from Gary Stokan. Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl coming up here in the semifinal of the College Football Playoff. Peach Bowl Inc. President, CEO Gary Stokan, spending many years here on the show. Gary, I know that you are a busy man. I appreciate your time today, and I can only finish this by saying two things. Merry early Christmas, and I can't wait to see you in Atlanta for the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl.
Well, Dan, have a Merry Christmas. We'll look forward to hosting you when you get down here. Thanks so much for having us.
Of course. Be safe, and I'll talk to you soon.
Okay.
See you.